questions tonight after a ship crashed into New York City's iconic Brooklyn Bridge, killing 2 sailors.
Isn't that gonna hit the bridge?
Those along the river watched in horror, some running away, as the Mexican Navy training ship collided with the bridge around 8:20 p.m.
What is going on?
The Brooklyn Bridge is a critical part of New York's infrastructure, connecting Manhattan and Brooklyn, and a major tourist attraction.
Go to an all hands. They have multiple serious patients coming.
Hi, my name is Josh and I'm a professional delivery captain and sailing instructor. I run my own sailing school. And I wanted to take a minute today to discuss this most recent incident with the Navy training tall ships that recently collided with the Brooklyn Bridge in New York. So to put it kindly, there's clearly some gaps in people's knowledge when it comes to boats and maritime operations. I've seen some truly ridiculous comments like, how did they not know how high the bridge was? Or didn't they realize that their stick thingies were too tall to fit under the bridge? Or if they lost power, how come there's still lights on? And there's also been some truly shameless commentary on the fact that the boat is flagged from Mexico, and needless to say, it's completely inappropriate. It's important to realize that already 2 lives have been lost, others in critical condition, supposedly 17 in serious condition, and more than 24 injured. Just to keep the incident in context, it's a serious incident and quite tragic.
Mayor Eric Adams confirming early this morning that 2 of the 277 people on board died.
Our hearts go out to the family members, and many family members are going to be traveling here from Mexico.
A Mexican official confirming one of those killed was America Yamilet Sanchez. At least 22 others were hurt, according to the Mexican Navy. Moments before the crash, many sailors seen standing on the mast.
What people need to understand is that this is a Mexican Navy training vessel. The captain is, of course, going to be very well experienced with several thousand sea miles. And despite all of those miles in training, accidents can and do happen. But one thing that's evident, despite the levels of misunderstanding in the general commenting and viewing public, is that it's pretty clear the vessel lost control, and the most likely explanation for that is that it was a loss of propulsion.
A tugboat was seen on camera around the time of the crash. It's unclear right now what its involvement was, if any. The mayor says a mechanical mishap made the vessel lose power, and the river's strong current pushed the ship backward.
Because of the current, it looks like it ended up under the Brooklyn Bridge, and that's where the tragedy occurred, the mast.
Dramatic video shows some people dangling in the air after impact. The boat was on display in New York Seaport and on its way to Iceland. Those plans put on hold now. Officials say the nearly 142-year-old bridge was not seriously damaged.
Despite the very clear levels of misunderstanding or lack of any kind of sophisticated knowledge on maritime operations, it's clear from what we know, seeing the videos, that the vessel is going in reverse. So right away, if you're paying attention and you can tell the bow from the stern of a boat, you should be able to tell that something is clearly not right in this picture. The boat's traveling in reverse before it makes collision with the bridge. And it's then flanked, we can see in the video, it's flanked by a tug, which appears to be trying to overtake the sailing ship and get down current of it, which clearly it's unsuccessful in doing that. When you have a large ship moving with the current, and also with the high winds that are clearly audible in some of the video clips, and also reported in a couple news reports, that evidently high gusting winds in that instance, it's going to be very hard for the tugboat to get down current of that much mass and that much windage, moving with current and moving with wind, to overtake it and get down current of it. And even if the tug was successful in doing that, you're talking about one little tugboat versus a 220-foot steel tall ships vessel that weighs 1,800 tons. That tugboat is going to have no success in pushing that much mass and that much inertia with current and wind against it. It looks like it was just a Hail Mary attempt to try and do something to try and abate this impending disaster. So I want to explain then that vessels of this size and complexity, there are many systems that operate independently of the engines for propulsion. So in many instances, ships this size will have fly-by-wire systems that control the throttle and steering controls, which is a digital signal, right? And this is opposed to cables or linkages directly attached from the helm to mechanical systems. So ships this size, steering propulsion are often driven by hydraulic pumps, if not directly shaft driven. So what has happened in many instances is you have a generator powering helm controls, and the generator is also powering hydraulic pumps that move the rudder or adjust the steering systems or throttle controls. And when you have a failure of perhaps a generator that is supplying power to those systems, you then lose control of those systems. And ships this size often have several generators for powering various systems, not only mechanical systems, but also electrical systems. So you can lose power, quote unquote, which doesn't mean you lose every other system on the ship, or the main propulsion engine can fail while other generators are maintaining electrical power to various systems. So when people are saying, for example, well, why are they saying the ship lost power? Clearly the lights are still on. This is what I mean. So, well, you've lost propulsion, or maybe you've lost power to the systems that control the rudder or the systems that control the throttle, and the ship is now disabled in that respect. The throttle is disabled in an on position or disabled in an off position, or the rudder has locked in a certain position and cannot be controlled. So that is the distinguishment that a lot of people are missing. That on it's not like your house, right? Your house, the power goes out, everything's out. That's it, right? When you're talking about a large ship or a large plant like that, you've got generators that are powering batteries, generators that are powering lights, generators that are powering water systems, refrigeration, air conditioning, etc. All the things you can think of. And then you've got, in most cases, one or several very large diesel engines that are dedicated to propulsion. And of course, they also can provide some charging for other systems, but they're kind of standalone. So you'll have generators providing direct power, generators providing power storage to batteries, and then you'll have your diesel propulsion engines. So that's, I think, where people are getting a little confused, that you can lose one without the other and vice versa. So when that happens, there is a delay to restarting the machinery that provides the power to that critical system, or it takes time to divert power from another generator to that system. And clearly this was a situation where there wasn't enough time to respond to the loss of power, whatever the source of that, the cause of that issue was. There's statements online in news media that suggests that the captain is quoted as saying that he lost control of the steering. Now, we don't know what kind of systems that is. We don't know if it is a mechanical linkage of some kind, or if it is a fly-by-wire electronic signal type system that could have been affected by a loss of a generator, for example. In looking at some information online about the ship itself, it is suggested that the auxiliary engine is an 1125 horsepower diesel. So it suggests it's a single diesel propulsion engine. But I don't know. We're speculating at this point in time without knowing more details about the ship itself. And the reason it's referred to as an auxiliary engine is because, of course, on a sailing ship or sailing yacht, the primary propulsion are the sails. So when you hear that auxiliary engine, that just means it's typically referring to the primary propulsion, primary propulsion engine, but the primary propulsion of the vessel is the sails. So it's then considered auxiliary to the sails, even though it is the main engine for driving the boat. So just a little bit of nautical terminology, again, stuff that is not in the parlance of the general public. So these kind of terminologies will throw some people.
There are many more questions than answers as to how the accident occurred and whether it could have been prevented.
The National Transportation Safety Board is investigating with the New York City Police Department as they try to figure out what exactly went wrong.
So it appears the situation evolved really quickly before commands or actions could be taken to remove the crew from the rigging. And to suggest that the tragedy could have been avoided, like I've seen in some of the comments, I think it's too soon to tell before the investigation is completed that crew could have safely come down and before the collision. We don't know where the boat was in relation to the bridge before they realized they'd completely lost control of the situation. It's easy to armchair quarterback that. We don't know, it could have been more dangerous at that point in time to try and issue the order to have the crew get out of the rafters. It could have been a mad scramble, everyone trying to get down the rigging at the same time. So that might not have been, it may have been safer to just try and manage the situation with everyone staying stationed, right? So that said, sailors know well the risks inherent in doing their duties. And for that, they have my respect and my condolences, and to their families as well. We'll be following the story for any updates and what we can learn from the outcomes of the investigation. If you have any questions about vessel systems or thoughts about this incident, leave your comments and we'll continue the conversation in the comment section. So I look forward to seeing you there. If you would like to learn more about sailing and vessel systems or operating a vessel, you can visit our website and see the ways that you can sign up for free courses online or join us for sailing trips in the Sea of Cortez, Mexico. Thank you for watching.